Look, he drove it straight up. Here she is.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to have you here because I just bought literally my dream E46 M3 exterior color. Now I know that sounds super specific, but I've always wanted a Alpine white E46 M3 Coupe with a manual transmission. Preferably red interior, however I didn't get that lucky, still might swap it. But regardless, this car is gonna add the perfect addition to the three E46 kind of trifecta that's going on right now. So I'm literally counting down the minutes. The transporter should be coming here at any moment. And it's coming from Louisiana. The black car that I have, the E46 black on cinnamon car, came from Connecticut, and the gray car came from New Mexico. So kind of getting cars from all over at this point. Super excited to be able to show you guys the process. I know we kind of slacked on the videos of the other cars, but I've been super busy with work and stuff like that, that I wanted to kind of come back now, me and my boy Oliver, work on the videos, get these suckers edited so you guys can get a little bit of a glimpse of the collection. Now, a lot of people are like, why do you have so many cars? Why do you care so much? And for me, cars have always been one of my ultimate hobbies. I've loved cars. I've loved the E46 M3 as long as you can even think about. If you look me up on Instagram, at Kyle Solcar, you can go to scroll to the bottom. You can see I've literally loved this car for the past like 8-9 years. I always wanted one, and now it's like finally the time to be able to own them and enjoy them and add some value. So obviously, guys, I look at cars as investments. I understand most people don't. And there's other cars like my F80 M3, which obviously from a monetary standpoint, buying a new car is not a good idea, and I understand that, and I'm with you. However, the E46 M3 is obviously reached kind of the bottom of its depreciation curve. It's on kind of an appreciation kind of curve. In my opinion, I don't know if it's going to happen like today, but just in general, it's difficult to find a very good example, and that's what I'm interested in finding. Obviously coupes, obviously manuals. I'm not opposed to the SMG transmission. I've only owned one of them. It wasn't terrible, and I'm not opposed to convertibles. I've owned many of them. My first one was a convertible. I had a convertible last summer, and I love them. However, the coupe is the kind of OG E46 M3 with a manual trans, just like perfect. So we've got the carbon black car. Oh, yeah, not him yet. There's somebody else. But I got the carbon black car, got the silver gray car. The carbon black one is for 04. The gray one is a 03.5, and then this is an 02. So it doesn't have the better taillights, but I've been working on this deal for the past like 3 weeks, so I already ordered those taillights. They should be in shortly, be updated with LED ones. And yeah, it's 8:44 right now on a Thursday. I've got like 4 videos to edit still. I got a lot of work to do, but this is kind of my excitement for the day and for the week. So super excited. Gonna probably work on that after I finish my actual work stuff. And like I said, guys, it's kind of like my hobby. It doesn't need to be yours, in the sense of, you know, you don't have to buy cars too many of them to enjoy them. You can have one, you could love it, and I'm with you. And there's some days where I'm just like, man, I wish I only had one car. But there's other days where I look at the E46s and they're like my little babies. They're like savings accounts, and you know, I really don't think that they're gonna lose any value unless, you know, you lit them all on fire and didn't have insurance. So with that being said, some people like to invest in stocks, some people like watches, some people like whatever. I personally like watches and cars on the higher end, just because they hold their value. So I'd rather put, you know, money into something, even if it's a little bit more expensive, that I can kind of keep and it might appreciate over time, or at least retain its value, rather than buying a bunch of cheap garbage and then losing, you know, your butt on it. So with that being said, guys, I know it's like an interesting concept, and it's not like the most normal thing to have, you know, 3 E46s, an E36 M3, the Range Rover, and the F80 M3. I get it. It's getting a little excessive. However, still gonna do it as long as I can, because I love cars. I love working on them, and it's like my only like stress reliever, opposed from just working all the time. So it's what I like to do. I like to be productive, and I recommend that you guys do a productive hobby too, because it's always fun to not lose money on your hobby. So with that being said, guys, I hope you like this little rant or whatever you want to call it, just to give you a little bit of a preface as to why I'm going crazy buying so many cars. And yeah, so found the car, kind of bought it sight unseen. I had a couple videos of the car, a couple of pictures, and just kind of have to cross your fingers and hope for the best. So if you're looking for your perfect E46 M3, probably go get it checked out, you know, whatever, or look at it with your own eyes, fall in love with it. But at this point, you know, after having so many cars, I'm just like, you know, I have an idea, I have a tolerance. It could come here, you know, looking like garbage, and I still wouldn't have my day ruined. You know, I would just figure out the ways to fix it and make it better. And just make it nicer. So a lot of the times with anything in life, whether it be computers, cars, phones, watches, whatever, you just add a little bit of value maybe market it a little bit better in the future, and you can maybe have an asset that's worth more than you paid. So that being said, guys, let's get into the video. All right, you guys, so of course we've got the carbon black E46 M3 right here. I love this car. I think it's like such a pretty combination. Shows off BMW's carbon black color, which is like a dark blue, but they call it black. I don't know if I went too into detail in the last video. Of course, got the OEM 19s. It's the slick top stripper with no sunroof, no xenons, no electric seats, no nothing. But it does have, you know, navigation, obviously a 6-speed manual, and I absolutely love this thing. So I'll do a full video on this car and why it's so special to me. But yeah, this one I plan on keeping for quite a while. I absolutely just love it. And you know, in a perfect world, I would disassemble this interior and put it in the new car. However, this car is completely original and it's gonna stay that way. It's got 105,000-ish miles on it, and it looks like brand new. So I love it for that, but you know, you can never have too many E46 M3s. So I'm going to open up the garage, sit outside, take a little bit of a break from work, and just cross my fingers that this transporter comes pretty soon. So let's go. Guys, while we wait out by the street waiting for the car, I just want to let you guys know it's still ridiculously crazy to me to be able to even buy one of these cars. I know I have the F80 and stuff like that, but there's something to be said about the car that you just grew up loving. I remember the E46 just platform in general. I had a relative with a sedan 330i, and my buddy Ben back in the day had the sedan 330i with a sport package and a manual when he was like 15, and I'm like, this is the coolest body style ever. And obviously the M3 was the best one of it all, so I still get that little kid feeling inside every time I see one of these cars, because I've seen so many. Like, I put so much more time and effort into these cars than I ever have the F80. Now obviously it's a beautiful car, it's super fast, it looks beautiful and new and whatever, but the E46 gets me going every single time. It's like a new treasure, new color combination and stuff like that. And that's what I mentioned. If I wouldn't be super excited to just get a bunch of black ones with random, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do anything for me. But being able to get a color I've never seen before, never had, never been able to work on, just gets me, I don't know, it's just exciting. So you guys got to find the thing that you're passionate about. Maybe it's about M3s, maybe it's about watches or jewelry or clothing, whatever it may be. But find that thing and try and make it something that's not destructive or it doesn't suck a bunch of money away from you. So that's just kind of my rant. I love guitars too in the same way. I don't sell any of them. I love watches, but I just don't sell any of them because, you know, I just get emotionally attached. So I try and stay away from those kind of things, and I try and stay towards the cars because I know that, you know, one day I've got to get rid of, you know, some of the cars at some point just because they take up so much capital at once. But always interested in a new project. I'd rather spend a Sunday here working on a car than out drinking or doing anything kind of like unhealthy. So that's just me. Doesn't have to be you, but guys, I'm excited. It's been 10 minutes. He's still not here, so it's gonna have to wait. So I'm looking for a car that looks like this on a truck that looks like this.
Yeah, 1 minute late.
Here she is. That's good. Sweet. How are you? How was the drive? Good? Yeah, how are you? Do a quick little walk around. Just arrived from Louisiana. Quick little look inside. Obviously gray interior. Not my favorite, but it's in good shape, so it's alright. It'll be okay. I'm going to take this thing for a quick little test drive, and we'll go from there. Alright, you guys, as excited as I am to have the car, I do want to give it a wash. Alright, you guys, quick little sneak peek. This is how the car came. Nice and caked in dirt, but that's okay. Just from the 15-hour drive, I'm super impressed that the shipper was able to get it here in like under 24 hours. So super happy about that, and stoked to have the car here. Glad I didn't have to drive it back. So far so good. Haven't figured out anything bad yet. There's a couple little things that I need to address, like the little badges and little, you know, spots I'm sure I'll find once I clean it off. Obviously it just caked right now in dirt all over. I did notice this. Don't like that at all. I'm gonna have to replace that for sure. Wasn't mentioned, but not a big deal. It's just a piece of trim. But yeah, overall the car from the outside looks fantastic. It doesn't have any accidents or anything like that. The front bumper was painted at one point, but that looks great, so not really concerned about that. Looking inside, the interior obviously is in fairly good shape. It's gonna need a little bit of touch up here and there, and you know, probably do the ZHP shift knob focus, as I typically do on all of the M3s. And there's the back seat, pretty nice and clean. I believe there's some parts in the trunk. I don't know, mystery. There's some parts right there. And here, let's see if it's got a full toolkit. Who knows? Yes, it does. That's pretty, well, missing that, but that's all right. But pretty good, pretty full. That's the ultimate BMW test. So let's quickly just pop the hood, take a look under there, and I'll clean it tonight, and we'll resume this a little bit later. But for now, let's check under here. Alrighty, so there she is in all of her glory. The S54 motor, of course, we've been over this multiple times. 333 horsepower, not a lot of torque. I've got the Dynon intake right there. Obviously, it's going to need to be cleaned, but yeah, this is pretty badass intake to say the least. Of course, you've got the Alpine Weiss right there, the color in German as always, and yes, everything's pretty much factory. Even like I said, the Dynon stuff, this car is super special for that reason. Not only is it a beautiful color combination, but it also is a Dynon Stage 2 from the factory. So the BMW actually you know, had this installed from the factory. There's very little information on how many cars they were done to. I'm gonna have to reach out to Dynon and figure that out. But I'm super stoked. Car sounds great so far. Didn't even really drive it yet, just pretty much drove it in here. But tomorrow we'll go for a full drive, do some, you know, POV shots, and we'll do a bunch of videos with this car. So yeah, get this cleaned up, figured out, and do a quick little car wash time lapse, and then I will definitely be catching you guys in the morning. All right, you guys, so she's looking much better. Obviously, we got rid of a lot of the bugs. I'm probably gonna have to wash it again, and I'm not taking too much precaution. I'm using another rinse bucket to kind of keep the bugs off, not scratching the paint, but I plan on doing like a full paint correction in this car at some point. White really doesn't show that many swirls, but I just want to make it like as nice as possible and keep it nice and protected. So you can see I'm definitely struggling quite a bit. I'm super sweaty, no air conditioning here, and my power washers, both of them are both broken. So I had to use just an old, good old-fashioned hose. Admit, but it's all good. It's all for the love of these old BMWs. But tomorrow, there's a lot more footage. As I've said like 3 times already, super excited to show you guys more of this car, kind of go more in depth. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on cleaning it a little bit tonight. Still, like I said, have a few hours at the least of work. So it's currently 10 o'clock on the dot, 10:01. And yeah, the things that we do for cars, crazy. All right, guys, so it is the morning. We're back in business. Let's go. Looking good, nice and clean. It did rain yesterday on the way home, but man, I love looking at this color. Sheesh, love that. Let's take this thing for a spin. Took the car home yesterday just to kind of feel it out, and it's driven really well. Now, like I said, this car is particularly special because it is the factory Dynon Stage 2. So it's got everything from the headers to the axle back exhaust and like full exhaust, intake, tune. Reminds me of my old car. I did a video on it, I'll link it at the end. It was a 2002, also silver with the Horsteiner hood, coilovers, AFE intake, all that good stuff. But this car is really fun. Obviously, I'm just loving the white. Everything seems really solid. Stock suspension on these cars is very drivable. Obviously, the F80. I compare everything to that car just because it's, you know, new, but it's a great car. But now that it's so low, it is a pain in the butt to drive. So it's nice to be able to just kind of throw around a car like this. And it just shifts really nicely. Clutch is awesome. Engagement's perfect. It's a really nice car. Well maintained all around. You know, handles super duper well. love it. It's really, really nice. You know I love E46 M3s, so this is nothing new to you guys. So I'm gonna throw the GoPro back there, and you guys can listen to that dying exhaust note. Tell me what you think. Alright you guys, so here she is in all of her glory, the 2002 Alpine White on Gray E46 M3 Coupe with the factory 6-speed manual, factory Dynan Stage 2, and a bunch of crazy goodies. So happy to see that. This is factory, which is absolutely nuts. This airbox right here, figured we'd start under the hood. This car's got headers, and it's got the full exhaust and all that good stuff. Still kind of want to look into everything that it's got, but I think that's kind of the overall, you know, conclusion of what it is. But aside from that, the car's completely stock, which is super, super cool. Hasn't really been messed with, as you can see, and it's just a really clean car. Obviously, it could use maybe some hood struts, which is windy, but it could use some cleaning and detailing. I just did that little quick wash on it last night, and then it rained on the way home, so definitely gonna need a little bit of TLC, but that's what I'm in the business of loving to do when I can. So let's just go take a quick look around the car. As you can see, it's got the OEM 19s with the Coupe Extra tires, pretty decent tires. They definitely were not the best in the rain yesterday, surprisingly. Not really that surprised, but they have good tread on them, which is good. Pretty much like new, which is awesome. Not a huge fan of the color on this car. I think it would look better on a different colored car. Got the taillights coming in, the LED taillights. Grills I'm probably gonna end up replacing. And then these grills up front, probably just keep those like they are. I always like that chrome look. I just don't like these badges right here. But if you look inside the car, the interior is pretty solid. It definitely needs a little bit of love right there. It definitely has some wear over here and over there as well. Might swap it, don't know yet. I think it'll be a pain in the butt to paint all of the interior black, because it's got a bunch of gray everywhere. And in order to swap in cloth or red, factory came with black. So I'd have to change the carpets, I'd have to change the trim, change the dash, paint the dash, and do all the swapping. So would be kind of a pain in the butt, but might do it. We'll see, depending on how this interior cleans up over time. But with that being said, guys, I mean, this is the car. It's gonna be a new project on the channel. I'm excited to bring it to you guys, and we'll slowly but surely get to where we need to go with it. So I hope you guys love it so far. I'm looking forward to making more videos on this car and the other cars as well. But as always, guys, I gotta go back to work. So like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Subscribe would mean the absolute world to me. Drop a comment down below with what you think I should do to the car, or any of the other ones, or if I'm crazy and I should start selling everything. That being said, guys, thank you so very much once again, and I will see you in the next video.